Sherry, have you ever turned to the Google machine and asked it if you're an alcoholic?
The Google
The
machine?
Google machine.
No, I've not. I've
You've
never
not?
searched. Am I an alcoholic?
Let's see if there's a correlation. Maybe we can even draw causation from this, but let's see if there's a correlation. You've never asked Google if you're an alcoholic, and it turns out you're not an alcoholic. And I have asked Google many times if I'm an alcoholic, and it turns out I am. Little cue there. If you're asking the internet if you're an alcoholic, you are. You have a drinking problem. There's no shortage of surveys on the internet. You can take little 20 question deals to your answers will spew out that you are or do not have a drinking problem. And again, if you're one of the people that are answering the questions,
You probably have an AUD.
you probably have an AUD. Yeah. I've always been a believer that really there's only two questions you need to ask yourself about your drinking to determine whether or not you'd be better off stopping drinking. That is, are you thinking about drinking when you're not drinking? That can either be excited anticipation of the next drinking event, or it can be rumination and sadness about the last time you drank and the fact that you went too far and said mean things and did bad stuff, broke shit. And the other question you have to ask yourself is alcohol causing negative impacts on your life? Whether they're small impacts or large impacts, it really doesn't matter. So if alcohol is a negative and you think about it when you're not drinking, guess what? It's probably best that you stop drinking. But you know, Sherry, all of us alcoholics, before we actually stop drinking, we go through this little stage where we set rules around our drinking. Terribly effective, isn't it?
Very effective.
Okay, so I had lots of rules. Off the top of your head, can you tell us what maybe your favorite rule was that I put around my drinking?
Oh, God, you had so many good ones. I think maybe drinking water in between each of your beers because it just made.
I read that on the internet, by the way. The Google machine taught me to do that.
Yeah.
It just made me have to pee a lot more.
Yeah, and as the night progressed, it just got a little sloppier.
Yeah.
In the bathroom.
So
I'll let them figure that out.
You don't want a drunk guy to have to pee extra. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Good point. I also liked, I'm only going to drink light beer because I typically drink IPAs. Oh. So I'm going to drop the alcohol content down. That'll fix everything.
Which was sort of like water because you drank them so fast. So then therefore, again, more mess in the bathroom because you were drinking more.
Also, double the content of our recycling container.
Yeah.
I could also find light beers that were a lot cheaper than the IPAs. So I thought this will be a money savings until I started drinking
twice the amount.
At least twice the amount. There was no hard alcohol, only beer and wine.
Oh, but then the combination of beer and wine for you really screwed you up. So if you had beer and then you started drinking wine, because normally we didn't keep wine very much in the house because I had gotten rid of drinking wine for a while, but it was very evident one time when your parents were here and they liked to have wine with dinner and you had drank beer for a few hours and then you had wine.
Yeah. So you didn't like it what it did to me.
No.
Also, I noticed if I was in a situation where there was hard alcohol available, a few beers and maybe a glass of wine or whatever that combination, that would make that rule about sticking away from hard alcohol not seem as important anymore. And pretty soon I'm doing shots with everybody else if that was the situation that we were in.
Or having the cocktail of the evening that they were promoting.
Yeah, when we talk about rules that are made to be broken, certainly rules around drinking are a big part of that.
You mean it's hard when you're intoxicated to keep your rules in check?
Weird.
And follow what you said you were going to intently do?
I think this is breaking news that drinking alcohol makes decision making hard.
Your inhibition is
down. Crazy. I wonder if that's why they call it intoxication. I also I'm only going to drink on the weekends, and then the weekend grew from Thursday, sometimes into Monday, right? Because I was kind of sad that the work week was upon us, so Monday had to be included in the weekend. Yeah, I did I did limiting on the number of drinks. My solution to that was to buy a kegerator. That was great. If you don't know what a kegerator is, it's a little refrigerator that holds a keg and has draft beer on demand available at all times. Guess what? Super hard to count how many beers you're drinking when every time you walk by the kegerator, you just top it the drink that you're already working on. So
and partners, it's also hard to know exactly what what amount has been drank.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure there were some times that you brought some of the kegs in when I wasn't at home intentionally because you didn't want me to know that you were replenishing so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I have good news around this topic. Just like if you're searching the internet to find out if you're an alcoholic, you are. If you're putting rules around your drinking, they're not going to work. That is not your solution. There are literally millions and millions and millions of people who have tried that, so you're not alone. You might think you're the genius that came up with this rule. Nobody else has tried this. You're wrong. We've tried them all.
You mean drinking
They don't
gives
work.
you a false sense of arrogance?
There's some
like you think
grandiosity.
you're so much smarter than any other people with a drinking issue?
You do when you don't think you're the dirt scum worst person on earth. Those are the two extremes.
So don't compare yourself to others is one of the takes that you can, something you can take away from this.
Yeah,
Don't try to compare yourself to others. Just think internally. What's it doing to me?
that's right. You could also think to yourself, if I'm drinking or if I'm with someone who's a drinker, alcohol is not going to be working for me if I am over that hump of thinking about drinking when I'm not drinking, or I'm over the hump of lost my train of thought.
So
There are squirrels having sex right out our window. I'm not
I was
even
like,
kidding.
what?
They're literally having sex.
You're right. Oh, that's funny. I was gonna say you're almost like that dog in
Squirrel!
Squirrel. And I was like, he's looking out the.
I'm not even making that up. I've never seen that before in my life. Oh my God.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's awful. Don't Google squirrel sex.
Yeah. Don't Google whether you're not an alcoholic. Don't Google squirrel sex. And don't think that you can put rules around your drinking that'll keep it safely in your life. It won't. If you'd like to hear more of our opinionated ramblings, check out our Untoxicated podcast.
And if you're more of a reading type, then go to soberandunashamed.com.
If you're picking up what we're laying down, you might be ready for your tribe. Check out shoutsobriety.org or echoesofrecovery.org. We get what you're going through. You've got this, and we've got you.